Good afternoon, it's Pete from FigLife.com, and today I'm going to take a look at this fig right here, which is called Champagne, or sometimes referred to as LSU Champagne. All right, good afternoon. So this is LSU Champagne, or just Champagne. It's a really good honey fig, one of my favorite honey figs. It does really well in the weather here. You can see it has a really tight eye. There's a little bit of cracking on here, which looks like it's gotten some damage on it. But normally this holds up pretty well to the weather and the bugs and whatnot. And it's a honey fig, has a really good flavor. It's one of my favorite honey figs. So when I started growing fig trees a few years ago, I started with a bunch of different honey figs, and this was one of them. But I had a bunch of them. I had what were all of them? A bunch of LSU figs. You know, I had Ollier. I had LSU Gold. I had long yellow long neck. You know, on and on. There was probably like 10 different honey figs that I had, and I ended up cutting way back because I didn't need 10 different honey figs, and I cut it back to Ollier, which I still have, and which is probably overall my favorite honey fig, and Champagne were two of the ones that I kept. I did keep a couple others. Notably Isbaran Naj, just because it has a unique flavor, and well, that's all I can think of offhand. Oh yeah, Yellow Greek as well. So I kept a few, but I just kept the ones that performed the best. And for me, I have not been able to get rid of Champagne because it is one of the best honey figs, I think. At least one of the best ones that I've tried. Ollier is still probably my overall favorite, but this one is also very good. So let me go ahead and cut this open, and we'll take a look at the inside. This is actually my first Champagne fig that I'm getting this season that hasn't been spoiled. I had a couple others that the pests, like birds, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was birds or what, but something ate it. So this will be the first one. So let me cut this open. All right. So there is Champagne. Really nice. It looks to be very well ripened. This should taste really good. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten more figs off my tree. Normally I get about, you know, Ollier and Champagne are usually performing about the same. This year I've gotten a lot more out of Ollier, but I think that's partially because of where I've placed my trees. I put Ollier in a really good spot on my deck, and then I put Champagne kind of way in the back of this area where it doesn't get nearly as much sun. So I think that explains why I'm not getting quite as good a performance this year from Champagne. But yeah, let me go ahead and try this fig. All right. So here's Champagne. Let me just cut that little part off where it had the cracking. You know, I don't need this leaf on here either. Okay, I'll just try these three pieces that I'm not gonna eat the one that had the cracking just because there's a little bit of damage there. Actually, which one was it? I think it was this one that had the cracking. Okay. All right. So this is Champagne. Oh, these mosquitoes keep biting me. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's got a nice honey flavor. I'll tell you a difference between Champagne and Ollier that I'll mention, just because I've had so many Ollier figs this year and they've just been so good, is Champagne seems to have a slightly tougher skin. Like it's just it's more noticeable when you eat it. You're like, oh, okay, I'm eating the skin. Whereas when I eat the Allier fig, I don't notice it. It's just part of the fig, you know. It's not a noticeable thing. And so for that reason, I tend to prefer the taste of the Allier fig. And then also the Allier fig has had a little bit more sweetness for me, but that may be partially due to having the champagne fig kind of back more out of the sunlight as compared to the Allier fig. So this year, the Allier has just been a clear winner in terms of performance, but that is probably partially due to the placement in my yard of where these figs are. But the skin thing may be actually a legitimate difference of the two. So yeah, but this is a good fig. This is a really good honey fig. It's one of the best. I mean, if it wasn't one of the best, I wouldn't have kept it. I would have discarded it like I discarded all the other honey figs that I had. And I had, it was like 10 or 12, I think. So I'm down to just a couple, and this is one of the best. LSU Champagne. Probably, in my opinion, number 2 though. Probably number 2 behind Allier. And then Isbet en Nage is kind of a different category of fig, in my opinion. Just kind of a specialty fig, just with a unique flavor. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit subscribe and check out my website, www.figlife.com.